Another lawsuit was filed today in connection with the collapse.
Yeah, and this one includes language that could point to a possible criminal angle in this case. Investigative reporter Mike Perlstein explains.
As more legal claims roll in alleging poor design and shoddy workmanship as possible factors in the hotel collapse, civil attorneys for victims are sharpening their focus.
We are working to obviously investigate what exactly happened. The investigation to who is responsible for the senseless accident, we're going to find out who it is, and we're going to hold them accountable.
In announcing a new lawsuit today, attorney Jeremy Pichon listed the developer, engineers, architects, and all contractors as defendants.
The companies that I just named responsible for the planning and execution of the site use inadequate materials and support that jeopardize the structure and integrity of the building.
With explicit claims of negligence now being made in multiple civil suits, Channel 4 legal analyst Chick Foray says criminal negligence also comes into play.
Once the evidence is gathered, there may well be evidence of criminal negligence. And under Louisiana law, criminal negligence is when you have a gross deviation below the standard of care.
And we already heard city officials say that documents gathered from the site as evidence have been secured ahead of the planned demolition. Mike Perlstein, Eyewitness News.
Now, as for the companies listed as defendants, we have heard expressions of sympathy for the victims and ongoing cooperation and pinpointing a cause, but nothing to address the claims now made in multiple lawsuits.